Hey, welcome to Bloodhaus, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkel.
And I am the leader of a teenage sex cult, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome to a new episode of Bloodhaus. How
What's
you doing,
up?
Josh?
How's it going? I'm
Uh,
good. I'm fresh out of the gym. What am I doing? I'm almost done with my movie, kind of. I've got a final cut. It's really
Fuck
pretty.
yeah. I
I don't know
cannot
if
wait to
it's
see it.
I don't know if it's any good, but it looks beautiful. And it's sort of on theme for today's movie because it's like a kind of a folk horror movie. So
Hey, it's in
filmed
Vogue,
it,
so why not?
yeah, we filmed it in upstate New York in the snow. And
Mm.
yeah, there's like a cult with animal masks and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. My writer's room ended a week ago. So I'm back, to being unemployed and sort of having an existential crisis about it.
Oh, Josh is back in the
Um,
bread line, everyone.
yeah, back on the dole. How are you?
I'm good. I've also been hitting the gym a lot lately. I don't know what it is about 2024. We're just gym rats over here.
Yeah, just gym sharks.
Welcome to Weight Talk. We are lifting,
Yeah.
we are busting.
Today's episode is about creatine versus protein powder. No, I'm joking. I don't know the difference between those two things.
This episode is brought to you by Planet Fitness. Use code Bloodhaus at ph.com. Get $25 off your monthly membership. I feel really good moving my body. Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird to say. I was having a conversation with a friend about this because, like, being back in, like, I've never had a gym membership. So my only experience with, like, weightlifting and treadmills and stretching and, like, any of these concepts and the atmosphere of this is been confined to, like, high school gym class. And so,
Yeah.
like, getting all the sense memory, like, smells of sweat and disinfectant and, like, lockers slamming and weights and all that stuff, my, like, subconscious is just like, you're back in high school. This is gym class. You fucking hate this. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But the opposite thing is happening, which is I'm doing crunches, I'm, like, running on the treadmill, I'm doing the rowing machine, and I'm listening to fucking Black Flag, and I, like, want to be there for the rest of the day. Like, so my brain is, like, having a, like, moment while I'm in the gym, but it's
Yeah.
good.
It does make you feel good. And I went through a thing for a long, long time where it brought up gym class, and there was a part of me that's like, you're in danger. Like someone's gonna bully you. But once I got past that, I love it. And yeah, it makes you feel really good. Let me ask you, this is a very personal question. So if you don't want to answer it, I will cut it and like just cut all of this. Do you feel weird?
We can talk about my liposuction. It's fine. I'm kidding.
Do you feel weird as like a trans woman in like a hyper masculine male space, like a gym?
Like, I not nearly as much as I thought I was going to. I go to a gym in Burbank, and like, there's a handful of like dudes there, obviously, but they're always in like the weightlifting areas, and they're always lifting weights, and they're like filming themselves. They like set their phones up in front of their water bottles, and then like do crunches and rolls in front of them. But so I was worried about that, and so I like very specifically like curated like gym clothes for myself and stuff like that, so I would feel good while I was at the gym. And I've got like fucking headphones on when I'm at the gym, so no one disturbs me. But like the parts of the gym that I work out in, rowing machines, on the bikes and on the treadmill, and then like there's a whole like section of it that's like machines to work on your core. So like hip and ab abductions and like crunches and like stuff like that. I don't know. It's like predominantly women in those sections. Because I feel like women and men have different fitness goals.
Yeah. And men want to get bigger and women want to get like more taut.
Yeah, I feel like women tend to be working more on their hips, their legs, and their core. As far as for just like, that's entirely anecdotal based on what I've seen in the gym and what I've talked to other women in my life and what their fitness goals are, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel that way. I mean, like,
That's good. I
I'm in
mean,
the women's locker room with my shit, and like I walk in, I walk out. No one's shitty to me,
yeah.
even a little bit at the gym. Everyone just like minds their p's and q's. Um, it's pretty nice. They also play old movies at my gym if I go early enough in the day.
Ooh, that's fun.
It's really cute.
I asked because like I said, I felt that way for a long time. So I was like, I wonder if a
Mm.
trans person feels that even more than I did. I go to Equinox Hollywood, which is the worst place on earth, the most
Oh
expensive,
my
most terrible place.
God. I used to walk past that place all the time when I was like selling my DVDs at Amoeba to pay rent and being like, fuck
Yeah.
those people at Equinox Hollywood.
It's horrible. And I was about to drop out, but then I moved to Miracle Mile. So I started going to the Miracle Mile one, and it's way more normal.
Okay,
Just
good.
like normal people. But Equinox Hollywood is the douchiest place on earth. The most
Yeah.
evil people in such a high concentration. I hated it so much. And I was like, fuck, what did I do? This is a really expensive gym. I'm chained to this for the next year. I don't know what to do. Like, I might have to go back to my old gym and just pay for 2 gyms because I hate this so much. But yeah, Miracle Mile Equinox is a lot nicer. Today I saw Aunt Zelda from Sabrina at Miracle, the old 90s Sabrina.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, it was great.
Did you approach her and say that you have something in common? Well, she also worked on yours. She was on.
She did do an episode. Yeah, she was. I did not talk to her, but the Miracle Mile Equinox is nice because there's a lot of older people, there's a lot of fat people, lots of women. I mean, it's like truly diverse in every way, including like body type and age and all that sort of stuff. So it feels much better than Hollywood Equinox Hollywood, which is like
absolutely
truly just like OnlyFans gay men.
Yeah. I go to a gym in Burbank that is like way the fuck out there. Kind of intentionally, because I didn't want to be working out in Glendale. And like it is the most blue collar gym I could find. It's great. It's super cheap. Everyone leaves you alone, and they play old movies on the TV, so I can listen to fucking Orgy and watch a James Coburn movie while I work out. Like, it's like I'm at home.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
Have you watched anything lately that you want to talk about?
I have seen something that is of note because for like the 3rd week in a row, for some fucking reason, I have a contemporary movie that I saw in theaters to talk about on this podcast, which is so out of character for me. Good Lord. So A24 has a new movie called Civil War, which I have no interest in seeing and did not see, so I'm not going to talk about it. Instead, I saw Monkey Man, directed by Dev Patel. And that movie's awesome.
I can't wait to see Monkey Man.
Monkey Man fucking rules. So when the trailers and stuff dropped and everyone was like, Monkey Man, Monkey Man, Monkey Man, I was like, okay, another action movie. I don't get why it's called Monkey Man, whatever. But so many of my friends are like giant Dev Patel fans.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, I found out I've only seen Dev Patel in one other thing ever. Which was those recent Wes Anderson shorts on Netflix. The Roald Dahl adaptations. I've never seen Skins. I've never seen Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. I never saw Green Knight. I never saw what's the Danny Boyle movie that won Best Picture that he was in? Millionaire.
I don't. Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire. Never saw that. I literally, everyone was always like, Dev Patel's the best. I'm like, yeah, he's a hot man. What's he in? And I like truly felt like an idiot because I was like, who is this person? Why is he famous? I don't know who he is. I did not see Chappie. I'm sorry. But he like wrote and directed his first movie, and it's called Monkey Man. So he wanted to be an action star. He wanted to be in action movies, but he's like tall, lanky, skinny kind of guy, and he wasn't being offered those roles. So he wrote his own action movie, like heavily inspired by like Chinese and Korean action movies and revenge movies. So like like super leaning into like the Bruce Lee of it all, leaning into Indian cinema and stuff like that. And he wrote it, he directed it in like I think 2021 during lockdown on like a small island.
Wow.
Um, he never directed before. It was made by Netflix at the time, and then after it was finished, Netflix shelved it for like 2 years,
Just
and then
because of like
weren't
business stuff, like
I
strikes
think
and things like
I
that.
think I think at least from what Dev Patel has said about it, that it was like too overtly political about
Okay.
the like majority political party in India, which it's a
Hmm.
very political movie for being like a revenge allegory action movie that's being marketed
Yeah.
like it's John Wick, but it's nothing like John Wick. Um, and then Jordan Peele got a look at it at some point and like signed on as a producer and convinced Universal to buy the rights to buy it like whole hawk out from under Netflix, and then Universal has it in the theaters right now. Um,
Great.
it did like 10. It did over 10 million in its opening weekend. It's doing
That's
very
great.
well. It is fucking crazy. It's really, 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 really fun. There's like a trans spiritual warrior girl gang in it that kicks
Hmm.
major ass.
Oh my
It's
God,
like
amazing.
insane. It's super fucking political. It is somewhere in between like a Costa Gavras movie, Battle of Algiers, but then
Hmm.
also like RRR and like fucking like Fist of Fury or like any of those Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah.
It's like crazy well directed and super stylish, and the action is very, very, very fluid. The narrative is great. The build up of it is great. Um, it's kind of insane that this is his first movie. This looks like and feels like a movie that's made by like a seasoned veteran. This looks like Edgar Wright made it or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh my
It's
God. Oh, I can't
super
wait.
fun. The whole audience had a goddamn hoot. It's got one of the best dogs in cinema history in it. Um, I loved it. I think everyone should see Monkey Man. I think it is crazy fun. It's also such like an impressively like deeply Indian movie. It's a very
Hmm.
like culturally Indian movie. It's predominantly English. I'm gonna say that right out. It's like 90% in English. But it's made for a Western audience, and it is incredibly appealing to a Western audience because it's hitting like all the hallmarks that we've been like that like action movies like this do very well here.
Hmm.
But it is so like an outrageously Indian movie in every way, shape, and form. Um, like even like when there's like oh a big car chase sequence, it's like he like intentionally eschews like a line of Lamborghinis and stuff and takes like a tuk tuk. Like
Yeah.
it's great. They do a like Rocky-esque like training montage where he like hones his craft and like reasserts himself and like works on getting ready. And it's again done in an extremely uniquely Indian way, musically, stylistically, and is like a lot more fun and funny. It's really, 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 really good. It's outrageously charming. And it's great, and I highly recommend it.
I went to the movies last night to see a movie that I had never. It's a new movie that I actually had not heard of, but my friend Mia wanted to see it, and it's a new horror movie called Sting. Have you heard of this?
Oh, I've heard of this. I can't say I've
So
heard good things of this, but I've heard of this.
it's a pretty frustrating movie, but worth a watch. It is Australian, but set in Brooklyn during a snowstorm, which I think is so strange. And that in itself is like a weird choice because it feels like the movie is suggesting that they can't leave the building because it's snowing outside. And I was sort of like, do people in Australia know that snow doesn't hurt you?
Yeah.
So the movie's implying that, but it looks beautiful. That's the thing. The production design is really beautiful. It's in this apartment building full of like immigrants in Brooklyn in a snowstorm in like a brownstone lined street. And it's like lots of wallpapers and knit sweaters, and you're kind of passing between walls and through floors. And so the camera work and the production design is so good and so sensual. And the movie is about a spider from outer space that eats people that's like in the walls of this apartment building. So it's a great setup. The spider looks great. The special effects are great. A lot of them are practical. There's really good scares, really good camera work. But the movie itself is kind of boring.
Mm.
And to tonally kind of strange. Like sometimes it feels like it's going for Gremlins because there's like the spider starts as the pet of a little girl in the building, and there's like a story about the girl and her stepdad and will they learn to love each other and blah blah blah, like sort of sentimental crap that is like destroying horror movies these days. But it's frustrating because it could be so good. Like everything about the movie is so good except for the movie, which I guess is like maybe the script. But it's like this wants to be so much more outrageous and campy and fast and funny, and instead it's like bogged down by sentimentality and setup. And I don't know. It kind of made me feel like it kind of reminded me of Evil Dead Rise because it's also Australian pretending to be American, and it's also about an apartment building, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise I love. I feel like this is like a less successful take on that in a way. But the production design was so good that I was like rooting for it during the movie, and it took a while for me to be like, okay, this isn't very good. But it's worth watching.
The director stuff, Kairos Turner. Because he made the Wyrmwood movies, like WYRM, which are like zombie post-apocalyptic Mad Max movies, which are supposed to be quite good. I've seen like snippets of them, and I've worked with people who worked on them, and they have great things to say about them. So when Sting started like doing festival rounds and getting like discussion, I was like, oh, that'd be great. That'd be like really good to see that person doing a little bit better and stuff like that. But I have not seen a review go higher than 3 stars for
Sting. I gave it 3 stars.
So.
I would say that I liked it. I do think it's well directed. That's the thing. I think it's like a well-made movie. I think I just don't like the script, and I think a faster, funnier, more outrageous script would have served it. Maybe that's the problem. But
I mean, if you're dealing with a killer, it's a pretty big, it's like giant spider, right?
It starts small and it gets bigger, sort of like Alien style.
Yeah. Or the Blob. Like, that should be like crazy fast fun insanity, because you're dealing with an outer space spider. Like, make it like the 88 Blob, like, but there's like really cool stuff. Like the opening credits are, it gets shot through space onto planet Earth, of course, goes through the roof of the apartment building and lands in a dollhouse of the apartment building. So you're watching the spider crawl through this dollhouse, and it just is really cool. And it's like to an old 60s rock and roll song. And so it's like campy and fun and cool. And I just wish the movie was always like that. I have just learned that it was written and directed by Kairos Turner. So
okay. Well, I thought it was
your
super
beef and compliments are with the same person.
Yeah, I think the movie is so well executed, but the script maybe is not that good. Maybe he's a better director than writer, I guess is what I'm saying. Because it had super weird pacing problems and super tonally uneven in story, and it's sort of frustrating, but I think worth watching.
Can we talk about a movie that's not frustrating and has a wonderful script?
Is it the movie of the day? It's
the movie of the day.
Yeah, let's do it. This is a classic of the folk horror subgenre from 1971, directed by Piers Haggard. We are talking, of course, about The Blood on Satan's Claw.
When the grave of the devil is disturbed by the plow, the satanic essence of evil wreaks violent and revolting revenge.
But it weren't human, sir. They were fur.
Then it was an animal's remains.
It were more like some fiend.
And the evil grows quickly, attacking first the youth of the village and making them the devil's children.
Ralph, look.
Oh, God, I prayed I'd never see that again. That's what they call the devil's skin.
This is, if you're using the Kier-la Janisse parlance, which I always am, this is part of the unholy trinity of folk horror, which includes The Wicker Man, Witchmaster General, and this. This is the third of the 3.
Witchfinder General.
Thank you. Witchfinder General. I have seen this before, maybe 2 or 3 times. to be honest, it's my least favorite of those three movies, but I do really like it. But this was your first time watching this movie, right?
This is my first time. I haven't even completed the Unholy Trinity because I am apparently a fake, a fraud, and a know-it-not. I am nothing. I own them all though, so I'm getting.
Yeah.
I just need to do Witchfinder General soon. I've just been saving it for literally this show. I thought this movie was a fucking hoot and a half and was absolutely incredible, kind of from the jump. Like, very like before the opening titles even hit, I was like locked in and sold, and was pretty quickly on fucking board and really, really into it. I heard about this for the first time, I think, because Severin Films released it a few years ago.
They did.
And then it was the process of that release and Kier-la Janisse producing the special features for that release that then spurned her on to make Woodlands, Dark Days, Bewitched, the incredible 3-4 hour folk horror documentary, which is now like the Urtext of like...
That is like a core thing for me. That documentary and box set is like, I don't know, source material for my soul, basically. I love it so much. I put it on as comfort while I clean my house.
But for some reason, Blood and Satan's Claw wasn't able to be included in that box set.
Yeah.
So I didn't have it. I didn't have access to it. I just vaguely knew that there was like, you know, a young blonde woman leading a cult in this kind of movie. And that's all I generally knew about it. Until I finally like picked it up recently from 88 Films, who put it out along with Witchfinder General in a series of Tygon film releases, which was the company that produced this movie. This movie rules. There's so much I want to say about it. But it's really, so watching for the first time last night and also like knowing nothing about it.
Yeah.
I really loved it. And then afterward, I watched it with my girlfriend Ivory, and she really enjoyed it as well. And afterwards, we were talking about it, and I was like, is it just me? Or did this kind of feel like an anthology movie where it's all happening at the same time? Like, it feels like there's 3 different stories, and they're all, and they don't, some of them don't really resolve, but like the actors and characters just kind of like move throughout each one, and we just kind of like hop back and forth between them. And
That's
then
exactly
I looked it up this morning, and the author, the screenwriter, was like, they told me to write an anthology movie, and then the director said, no, make it a narrative movie. So that's what happened.
They worked together to make it one narrative film. And that, if I have a beef with this movie, it is that, like, there are 3 movies here kind of, and there's only one of them that I'm super interested in, and it's the story about the teenage cult, of course. And the other stories I'm like not that into.
That's so weird and so funny because I personally think that element makes this movie super interesting and weird and unique, and it like narratively still works for me. I can still buy it as a full narrative movie, and it just gives it like a super weird logic. But then on top of that, the like teen cult is very interesting to me. But the most interesting part to me is the attic from the beginning of the movie with like the fiance couple. I was fucking fascinated by that. The aunt just disappears. Where'd she go?
She sure does. Yes, that's true.
Her face bandage is also fucking insane and super cool. And the way they just like are so quick to just board up a girl in a room which is screaming for help.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I like this movie. But would I like it more if it were more focused on that teen cult? Probably. That's just me.
Personally, I think I would like this movie less if it was more focused, if it was just about the teen cult, because there were so many, and we'll also get into this further on, but there were so many movies at this time that were focused on teen cults.
Right.
And like teen murderers.
Psychomania.
The Damned, Children of the Damned, even to a degree, like the Bad Seed kind of like falls into that a little bit. Like the like kid killers post Manson family thing was a big deal in horror movies, and there was a lot of those ilk. And so I like the way that this does that, because it does it whole hog, but it also just does it as like a part of a larger tapestry of
Yeah.
illness or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be originally, as you mentioned, three kind of interconnected films that were all set in the same rural village in England. And it was originally supposed to be the Victorian era. And when they made this movie and rewrote it, they set it in 17th century England during the English Civil War. So it became more of a period piece. So it does kind of have that feeling like you said, an anthology, but it also feels like this could be a really great series of like American Horror Story or something like that. Like it just these like interconnected stories. Plot wise, I guess, this movie opens with a farmer named Ralph, who's like sort of a young, sexy farmer, and he's doing the plow, and he finds the skeleton of something. He calls it like a beast or a fiend. He takes it to a traveling judge who's like an aristocrat that's in the village, who says he's going to investigate, and then goes off to the city to investigate. Meanwhile, the judge has been visiting, a local rich woman whose nephew comes home and is marrying kind of a commoner. She doesn't like that. She locks her in the attic when she suddenly becomes insane, seemingly possessed by this force. Then the young people in the village start to go crazy with sexual desire and violent urges and sort of form this pagan cult. The farmer who found the skeleton, where I'm getting lost.
He discovers a woman being accused of being a witch,
Right.
and who has a patch of hair growing on her leg that is
Which they
dubbed
call the devil's
Satan's
skin.
Yeah, the devil's skin, which must be removed. And it all comes to a head when the judge returns to town and follows that woman back to the teenage cult, where they have been sacrificing other kids and parts of themselves to resurrect an old god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what they found in the field with the plow.
It's that old chestnut. We all know this story, Josh.
Yeah.
We were raised on stories like this.
Yeah, the aesthetic of this is great. I would love to see you in a photo shoot as Angel with the flower crown and the white dress.
She's so insane. She's so cool. But
she's
like
really cool.
The makeup on her when she like
the
ascends
arched
cult leader
eyebrows.
It's so like geometric, like Liquid Sky, like 80s new wave almost, because it's very crude and like it's just like big thick black streaks over her eyebrows, which her eyebrows before that are already like insane big and cunty as hell.
Yeah.
And then she also has like almost like diagonally shaped blush too. It's a really strong look, and then this big white tunic, and then the flower crown. It's so good. She's so sinister. She also tries to seduce a priest by stripping for him at night, who's like the schoolmaster. And when it doesn't work, she has her daddy go to like the town sheriff essentially and say that he molested her. And then they accuse him of the death of one of the kids that the cult killed. There's so much going on in this movie. A guy cuts his hand off.
Of that girl. Yeah, true. You're right about the aesthetic of that girl. She is giving like Missing Persons, but like with a folk horror twist. All the kids are so beautiful in this.
One of the things that I was saying to Ivory last night, I think while we were watching the movie, was that Linda Hayden, who plays Angel, which also like the leader of a satanic cult being named Angel is like perfect.
Yeah.
No notes. She has a very modern, or at least contemporary look to her. She looks like she's out of the 70s. Like I know a lot of people nowadays will dunk on a period piece by being like, that kid absolutely knows what an iPhone is or something like that. Like you could say that of her character in this, of like I know she's out in a field with like ribbons in her hair and stuff like that, but this girl absolutely has like Exile on Main Street on vinyl. Like,
Yeah,
she
totally.
absolutely is a fan of Mick Jagger. So,
Yeah.
like, that's in no way, shape, or form a criticism of this movie. In fact, it's like feels very intentional, and it feels like a really great comment on like kind of like the collapse of the 60s youth movement. Again, post Manson family, and kind of like fear of the kids. Which is a really interesting aspect to this movie, because there's such a like kind of classic folk horror Wicker Man-esque clash between like the modernity Christian faith of the time that the film is set, and then the like rediscovery of old religions, old gods, and stuff like that. Except it's kind of inversely done as also a generation gap clash too. Like,
Yeah.
the older, like, middle-aged, wealthy people are representing the, like, new age. They're representing, like, modernity. Institution, Christianity, change, progress. And the kids, the youth, the teenagers are the ones representing nature, the old gods, old religion, old faith.
I think,
awesome.
whenever you're talking about witchcraft in popular media, you're usually talking about the fear of primal urges. And often people will say like the fear of female sexuality, which I think is true, but I think that's a little bit limited because I think it's more broad than that. It's about animalistic urges just generally, and it's certainly not just
sure
women
is
here.
Broad.
So I think that's what the kids are tapping into. Like, this power makes them animalistic. It makes them horny. It makes them want to have sex with each other and do violence to each other. And it's like a return to literally tooth and claw of nature kind of stuff. I also think, a big thing that I never thought about until I saw Kier-la Janisse's documentary about folk horror, and I'm wondering to what extent it's true of this particular movie, but in general, English folk horror, at least, is a bit classist because it, on some level, is about urban people's fear of rural people and how backwards they are and blah, 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 blah. And so that's always in the context of English folk horror, where it's like the fear is that these rural backwards people are still practicing in secret some old, mysterious, evil, forgotten religion instead of Christianity, and they're not modern and blah, 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 blah. I mean, the American equivalent really is hillbilly horror, right? Like, you're afraid that you're going to be traveling through Texas and the Sawyers are going to get you. So that's sort of like our equivalent of this. I don't know that it's
just watched an interview with Kier-la Janisse today in preparation for this on the new release of Blood and Satan's Claws, where she talks about how even the name folk horror feels classist towards the description in general, because by calling the events of the movie folk and by calling the people of the movie folk, you're like couching it in a perspective of quote unquote entitlement, of like a higher perspective of looking down on that. So it
like they're primitive people and you aren't.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, even the name of it kind of takes on the perspective, and because narratively so many of these are always dealing with like some kind of outsider representing modernity coming into these communities.
And to be clear, I don't mean any of this as like a criticism of anyone who likes these movies or the movies themselves. It's just because I don't think you can moralize that way, but it's just interesting to like think of the broader context. That's not a criticism. Like, you shouldn't like, I'm not suggesting you shouldn't like movies like this or shouldn't make movies like this. I love
You're
movie,
ableist
obviously.
if you like folk horror movies, Josh.
Yeah. I don't want to come across as like that, as like a whiny TikTok person, because that's not how I feel. But it's interesting to like dig a little deeper into the psyche behind this genre.
Yeah, I think, well, there's a lot going on. I mean, even from like a writing perspective, I know that Robert Wyn Simmons, there we go.
Wyn Simmons.
The writer was like very loudly inspired, obviously, by the Manson family in writing Angel and Her Cult. but also specifically by the late 60s incident that had happened like a few years before the movie was made of the Mary Bell murders, who was a 10-year-old child who murdered two adolescent boys by strangling them to death, and who also apparently like coerced other kids into either harassing or murdering other like children and teenagers and stuff like that, and who like showed very little to no remorse, and was like photographed smirking in a lot of like the court and tabloid kind of stuff. And she served I think like 30 years in prison or something like that, and is still alive. She's out and about.
My God.
She's still alive and she's going about out and about. Piers Haggard, the director of the movie, has passed away like at the beginning of last year. Yeah. Mary Bell's still kicking. I wonder if she's seen this movie. We'll get to that.
What if you found out she was like the office manager at your job or something? It's so weird. I guess there are murders all around us.
Or I guess it would be like, I wonder, I mean, she's my father's age, I found out.
Oh my God. So that's like not that much older than me, right? Because I'm like in between you and your parents' generation.
Well, my father's 13 years older than my mother, so it's...
Oh, okay. I was thinking of your
that.
mom is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Do you know
right?
So this is sending me down a like mental rabbit hole. I was just watching a really fucked up documentary about this man who for 20 years was the hitman for the Gambino family. So he committed literally well over 100 murders before he was caught and went to prison. And I was like, how can someone commit 100 murders without getting caught? And so I Googled it, and only 50% of murders are solved in this country.
Yeah.
So you could probably get away with murder. And that's so all the time now. Sometimes I'm at a restaurant or something and I'm like, someone in here is a murderer. I know it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like, so OJ Simpson died this week, right?
Yeah.
The week that we're recording this. And this is such a fucking tangent. But
oh, you're gonna talk about the Caitlyn Jenner tweet? I saw this. It's so funny. But go on.
Yeah. So Caitlyn Jenner tweeted like OJ, something along the lines of like OJ's dead, good, like, or like one less like murderer off the street, something along the lines of he was a murderer, now he's dead, and that's good. And everyone's like, bitch.
Yeah.
You are also a former athlete who has murdered people, who has killed someone. Okay.
I thought they were friends, but I guess maybe he's friends with the Kardashian dad, I guess, probably, and not the OJ, I mean.
Yeah.
And not,
who's to say what murderers are friends with others?
There's a great video that I've been obsessed with for years, which is from the 80s, and Kris Jenner made this video for her own 30th birthday, and I guess gave it to all of her friends as a gift for her own birthday, weirdly. But it's I Love LA, the Randy Newman song, but it's I Love My Friends, and it's her singing, and she's like on a treadmill and driving around her Corvette in LA in the 80s, and there's, you know, in I Love LA, there's a chorus that's like 6th Street, we love it, and it's like a chorus of people. So instead she goes around LA and she's like, she has people go, she loves you, which is weird, but it's like the staff at a department store or the staff at Cheesecake Factory. And she's like name dropping LA places that she likes to go to. And anyways, like people spin around and say, she loves you. And one of them is OJ Simpson. And it's such a jump scare. It's such a jump scare. We've gone so far off.
I just want to get once, just on the topic of, I bet you forgot that person's a murderer, that you could meet that person or like watch a piece of media with that person and be like, oh yeah, they've taken a human life. And I don't want to talk about Richard Blake, and I don't want to talk about Matthew Broderick, because everyone's aware of those. Do you know that the lead actress from Crybaby killed someone and is currently in jail?
In prison.
She's currently
Amy
in prison.
Locane, right? That's her name?
Amy Locane. She's also the like female lead of the Brendan Fraser comedy Airheads.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Rebecca Gayheart as well killed somebody. The model and actress
Really?
Rebecca Gayheart. Yeah,
From
that's why she left.
Jawbreaker?
Yeah, that's why she left the show Dead Like Me. She ran over somebody and killed them and went and had to go away for a while. RuPaul borderline killed somebody. RuPaul watched someone drown in the East River in the early 80s and didn't do anything and didn't tell anyone. It's crazy. Murderers, Drew, are all around us. I could be a murderer. Ivory could be a murderer. You just don't know.
You just don't know.
Anyway,
I
let's
know
talk
for
about
a
the
fact
wigs in
that
this
I'm
movie.
not.
I'm not.
Oh my god, the wigs
either.
in this movie. Holy shit, the fucking wigs in this movie.
The men in wigs, they're great. It really looks like there's a bad 80s movie I love called Samurai Cop, which is like
Yeah.
a white man, of course, who's a samurai who has a mullet because it's the 80s. You can tell that they did reshoots at some point because in some random shots he's just full on wearing a woman's wig instead of his mullet, and that's the energy of the young men in this movie who are wearing wigs.
Simon Williams, who plays Peter Edmonton, who is the like kind of like fancy like nephew of the like woman who owns the big house in town, who's coming in with his fiance, has one of the most insane wigs in this movie.
It's
He
so
looks
weird.
so good. He's like every single scene that he's in, you're like, what is going on? Yeah, he later then stays in the room where his fiance went mad and then has a nightmare that a demon hand is choking him, so he cuts it, and then only to find out that he's amputated his own hand, and then just kind of like mopes around in the background of the rest of the movie just with one hand. You'll just like be like watching a scene of other things happening, and then he'll like walk into it and you're like, wig, and then it'll like pan down and he'll raise his hand and it'll just be stump and you'll be like, bum bum bum. It's great.
It makes me think of like that photo of Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny where he's got like the Andy Warhol wig on,
Yeah,
and the black turtleneck.
garbage. Yeah. Oh my god. It should also be noted that the doctor in this movie fucking rules.
He's great.
The doctor who, when the wealthy woman, that man's aunt, the wealthy woman who like owns the main house in the film, gets some like scars across her face from dealing with a woman who's having a psychotic break in her attic, and has a fever. The doctor just tells her, it's fine, there's nothing to worry about, it's just some unknown malady I've never dealt with, you'll be fine. Like, and who like is the first person in the town to be like, it's witches, guys, it's witches. I've got a book on them. Do you want to borrow my book on witches?
He's like, according to this book, cut to the book, it's a handwritten book about witches. It's like
the best
scientific text.
Yeah, he opens the book and he's like, this is it. This picture, this is a perfect picture of exactly what the guy said he saw digging up with this hoe. And it's like a sketch of like a face. He's like, that's the fiend, all right. And it's like,
it's a sketch of like a derpy little devil that's got like a little booty and is like looking around and smiling at you.
It's absolutely not a skull with an intact eyeball. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
I loved the two random old people who are part of the teenage cult. They are really scary to me.
They're maybe the scariest thing in the movie. Well,
I'm
like
where
as
did they come from?
I know, as the teenage cult goes on, they gain members. So you get that older couple, and then like during there is a big rape scene in this movie that's very upsetting. Which apparently was not in the original screenplay, and then the director Piers Haggard was like, "No, let's put a rape scene in here."
We need one.
I mean, it's not sleazy, it's not exploitative, but it is not fun. But intentionally so. But like as they go on later into the movie, there's like also like some middle-aged people in the cult, like, and they're still following Angel. She's their one.
Yeah.
We should also note that the woman who was accused of being a witch and who was thrown into a lake for being a witch later in the movie, and who is also a member of the cult, is played by Michelle Dautrice, who we talked about recently on the podcast for being
Mhm.
in the other rural horror film, And Soon the Darkness, which kind of rules.
Which we love.
Which
Yeah.
she got murked real hard in.
Very different character in both. I mean, in this movie, it's a period piece, so she's like a rural farm girl who goes from like sweet little Christian girl to hypnotized by a pagan cult god.
I don't think we ever really see her as a sweet. I don't remember seeing her before.
I guess
she's in
you're
the cult.
right. You're right. I guess I'm just implying that based on the. I'm just inferring that based on the period. Yeah. But in Soon the Darkness, she's like a good time, kind of slutty 70s girl. So
It's also
a lot of range.
Yeah, this movie also was made like 2 or 3 years after that, so it's weird to see her physically older and playing technically younger.
Yeah. She looks so much like young Mary Kay Place. I realized watching this movie. Mary Kay Place and Mary Hartman, like that era, 70s Mary Kay Place. Yeah.
I did read that they had originally wanted Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing to play the part of the judge. Because
you would, wouldn't you? You'd want Christopher
wouldn't
Lee.
you? But they couldn't afford them, so Patrick Wymark got the role instead, who was in Witchfinder General and Roman Polanski's Repulsion.
He's wonderful.
Movies we'll eventually talk about. He's wonderful in this, but he also feels more sinister, especially from the jump. He feels a lot more untrustworthy, especially when he's, again, very keen to just board up a screaming woman in a room. In a way that I feel like Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee would have garnered a little bit more like joy and sympathy from audiences. And like, if you saw Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee doing that, you'd be like, "Aw, I agree. He's right. Whatever he's doing, he's got a purpose." But this guy, you kind of are like suspect pretty quickly of him, even though he eventually comes back to be a white knight figure of a sort.
Of a sort. He is sort of gay coded too, so you know he's evil, like all good Disney villains. You should just wait until you see Vincent Price in Witchfinder General. He's like so evil. He's at his most evil, which is delightful.
I can't wait. Speaking of gay coded, Angel don't seem too straight to me. And like those kids are all kind of going at it.
They're all poly. They're all they thems.
Because A, that's what the patriarchy fears the most. But also like when Michelle Dotrice's character is like being taken in by Ralph Goyer, who found the skull initially and who has shaved off her Satan skin. Which is so fucked. Just quick tangent. I love that after like the like scene of like cutting that like skin off of her body, he turns to the doctor and is like, "We need to burn that now." And the doctor's like, "Yeah,
I can't do that. I'm not equipped to do that."
He's like, "Okay."
Oh yeah, he keeps it in the jar.
Sure.
But first
and then just keeps it in a jar.
But before that, he's like, "I can't do that. I'm not equipped to do that." It's like, what can you do? All it takes is like, I could do that. You know what I mean? I could do that with a steak knife from my kitchen.
He's like, "All I have in my bag is a book on witchcraft and some leeches. I don't know how I'm supposed to do that."
I really appreciate how mysterious this movie is. It kind of never explains anything, like the Satan skin stuff. It all just feels very like a folk tale that you would hear. It doesn't make any sense at all. And I appreciate that quality.
I strongly do too. The connection between like the hand, the like fur-lined hand that we see that's attacking people in the attic is like implied to be the same as the beast that we see later on. But like them possessing the hand themselves, like he's seeing his fiance have it before she's carted off to an asylum, is like not explained. It's inferred later on in the movie that part of the ritual that the teens are doing and sacrificing one another is to help raise their god, but it's also implied that some of them are amputating their own limbs intentionally to raise the god. And it's stated that there's a beast that's like hobbling around in the woods with only one leg, and that like the last piece they need a leg for their old god Behemoth, And so that's why the Satan skin is on Margaret's leg and then later appears on Ralph Goyer's leg. And I gotta say, that final sequence where he like quickly, as soon as he gets that on his leg and kind of quickly falls under Angel's spell and is very keen to just chop his leg off for them is so scary and really, really awesome.
Yeah.
When he like discovers it by like accidentally hacking into his leg in the field, and then you see like it looks like a flesh-eating virus has gotten to his leg and it's grown hair. So fucked. It's so good. I don't know. It's so cool. There's also a bear trap that gets implemented. So many of the like pastoral scenes of the kids running around look like B-roll from Moonrise Kingdom.
Or like a tampon commercial from 1971. Like girls in white dresses running through fields of wheat. You know, when I worked in advertising for many years, and I'd always have to make these quote unquote sizzle reels for like shampoo brands and stuff. And every single time you'd be there like looking up stock video and it would be like, search hand passing through lavender. Hand scooping up oats. You know what I mean? And that's the vibe that this movie gives off at times, which all good folk horror movies do. It's not a criticism, it's a feature.
Speaking of the vibe and look, it's also worth noting that this movie was shot by one of England's greatest cinematographers, Dick Bush, who the same year filmed one of Hammer's best movies, Twins of Evil, with Peter Cushing.
I love that movie.
But was also predominantly one of Ken Russell's go-to cinematographers, who shot...
What did he do for Ken Russell?
Lair of the White Worm,
Ooh.
Tommy, Crimes of Passion, Mahler, Savage Messiah, and some of his earlier composer films at the BBC, like Delius and Isadora, the Isadora Duncan film. He also shot William Friedkin Sorcerer, which is gorgeous. He also shot Victor Victoria for Blake Edwards, which is a banger. And speaking of British folk horror, he shot maybe the pinnacle of the BBC Christmas ghost movies, Whistle and I'll Come to You.
God, I love that short.
Yeah.
I thought of Lair of the White Worm during this because it has the same inciting incident, and you know, it's just sort of similar in a weird way.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Good old Papa Ken has.
Oh, I'm sure.
Took note. I was disappointed to find out from like research and interviews with filmmakers that Blood and Satan's Claw didn't do well commercially or critically
mixed
when
reviews.
It came out.
Very mixed reviews and kind of flaccid box office.
Yeah, and it was like weirdly an early Cannon Films release in the US in 1971.
I didn't read that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Love Cannon Films.
I know. Yeah, they just bought up, you know, cheap British horror movies. It's like this and Beast of the Cellar were like a double bill at drive-ins in England and the US at the time, and just didn't do really well. I don't know when it got its cult following. I have to assume home video.
It seems like more recent,
television.
Like it did. You know, it seems like a slow burner in terms of developing a cult. I think probably similar to a lot of movies we've talked about, like Let's Scare Jessica to Death or Messiah. You know, there's a lot of 70s movies that are, you know, get lost for a long time.
Yeah. What do you think about the title, The Blood on Satan's Claw? I know the original title was either Satan's Skin or The Devil's Skin.
Yeah. I like it. I think that's a good title. I might like Satan's Skin a little bit better as a title because it's just shorter and clippier, and that's my preference and taste. But I think it's a good title. Do you not like it?
I love the title. It just I feel like the claw is a very short-lived aspect of the movie. I mean, I feel like there's a like Picnic at Hanging Rock-esque title that would capture like the teenage gang element of the movie.
Like ethereal qualities of it too.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think they were going for that. I think they were just trying to get butts in seats. So having
those are
Satan
for sure
and
drive-in
blood
titles. Yeah,
exactly. I did see that the whole reason the movie was made was because Tygon Films had gotten a deal at one of the biggest studios in England, and Pinewood, where they shot like all the James Bond movies and like Prowler Pressburger movies and shit like that. But to like get their money's worth, they wanted to shoot 2 movies there back to back, and they already had the script for Beast in the Cellar. And so they just they didn't have a script for a second movie. They didn't have anything in mind. And Robert Wynne Simmons had like written a book of like folk horror short stories when he was like a teenager and had been trying to get into the film industry and written them a letter. And so they just called him up and were like, "You got a script? You want to make a movie?"
Yeah.
Which is crazy because like how much of this movie is even filmed on a soundstage?
Yeah, not a lot. I don't think. I mean, maybe the interiors, I suppose, of those houses. But I know for sure, like the ruins are real historic church ruins in England, and they're very famous apparently regionally. So it seems like it's mostly outdoors. Tygon also made Witchfinder General, and that was a hit. So it felt like the director insisted on using a lot of the things that were in that movie in this movie, like the witch torture and maybe the rape and things like that. So yeah, it felt like trying to cash in on a success a little bit.
One of the weird things though is that like I've seen interviews with Pierce Haggard from the 70s talking about this movie, and I think it's the only instance I've ever seen of a director from one of these movies at the time actually calling it a folk horror movie. He actually used the phrase folk horror in 1971 to describe the movie, which is like Billy Wilder calling Double Indemnity noir in the 40s. Like it seems to us, and it is for the most part a like label and genre that's been applied after the fact by like criticism and through a lens of like time and context. But like he actively like saw it as that and saw what was happening with Witchfinder General and some of those other movies, and saw the like folk nature connection to them, and that's really, really, really unique. And where I've read multiple essays on this movie where they're kind of lambast the contemporary like desire to like label everything as folk horror now that folk horror as a term is in vogue, in the same way that elevated horror is in vogue, and people want to like call Argento movies elevated horror and stuff like that, which is stupid.
Which they're not. They're trashy as fuck, and that's what's part of what's great about them.
Exactly.
But go on.
And the writers made a point to be like, when the filmmakers made these movies, none of them set out to make a folk horror. That's a modern context. And I'm like, Pierce Haggard literally like might be the one person who coined that phrase. Like, I kind of was always under the assumption that it was something like that Kier-la Janisse and scholars like that have like applied back to that. But to actually find out that filmmakers at the time were using that's kind really of incredible.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. I thought it was like a more recent term for sure. But also like, I don't know. If people are intentionally making folk horror, then why does that matter? You know,
exactly. Like, let them. It's great.
Yeah, let them. It's great. Do you have anything else to say before we move on to Have They Seen It?
I think this movie is great, and I would love to see some Halloween costumes or Ren Fair costumes based on this film.
Same. And this movie, I will say, is streaming for free on Tubi, which is where I watched it. So if you don't mind watching Olive Garden and Febreze commercials, then get thee to a Tubi near you, which I don't mind with a movie like this. Let's play our favorite game, Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen this movie. I have somebody in mind. Her name is Caitlyn Jenner. Has Caitlyn Jenner seen Blood on Satan's Claw?
Ain't no fucking way. I feel like the only way in which Caitlyn Jenner would have seen Blood on Satan's Claws is if, like, a modern context, she just left Tubi on and fell asleep and woke up and it was on. Or if in the 90s it was playing on TV late at night
and like she couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was like, there's some creepy British scary movie on. I don't know.
What do you think Caitlyn Jenner watches? Just Fox News?
I feel like she has a robust home video library of Steven Seagal movies.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I imagine her in like an all white and cream room wearing a white suit at a glass coffee table, drinking a Pellegrino out of a glass bottle and watching Fox News.
Yeah, that's probably correct. That's like true, like supervillain chic, which is like
Totally.
true to her character. I mean, that's probably all she does. She probably has the Fox News streaming app. She probably has Netflix and Hulu and all that kind of stuff, and like watches all these new things just so she can tweet about how like it's so awful that they put trans people in this. And it's like, do you have mirrors in your house? Do you know
Yeah.
Do you know what's going on?
Like, how badly do you want to belong to something that you have to become? It's like when any minority like becomes a Republican. It's like, how badly do you want to be famous? I guess pretty badly.
Yeah, I know. I saw someone post a video on Instagram that was like pulled from TikTok of like a gay male couple out at like Disney at Universal, that like at the Harry Potter attraction,
Ugh.
whatever.
Okay.
And they were making a video being like, "We stand with you, J.K. Rowling. We love you so much. Don't let these fucking," and like use like a slur, like, "get you down. They're so wrong," and like, "gays for J.K. Rowling," and all this stuff. And someone like quote tweeted and was like, they want to kill you too, right?
Yeah, you're not off the hook.
Oh my god. Okay. Piers Haggard is most well known for this movie now, but he's directed a handful of other really big UK properties. He's notably touched the Quatermass franchise, and also directed some other creature-based horror movies and thrillers in the UK, including the Klaus Kinski vehicle Venom, which co-stars folk horror legend Oliver Reed. Do you think Oliver
Yes.
Reed has seen Blood on Satan's Claws?
Absolutely. I don't know why I think that, but I think for sure. I don't know. It just feels like he has. That's my vibe.
I feel like he and Keith Moon would get fucking loaded as all hell and then go into a drive-in in the same car and watch Blood and Satan's Claw and whatever the fuck they had, and then get really rowdy and fuck around.
I just imagine him watching this on TV in like the little short bathrobe that he has in The Brood, I think it is.
Yeah.
Like the Troy McClure style bathrobe that's truly, actually, I think very sexy. But
It is.
Yeah, I think he would watch this and just drink himself to blackout watching this in his little short robe.
And you know what? There's no better way of watching this movie, to be sure. Some like film critic at the time when it came out wrote a negative review of the movie and just said that maybe it would be good enough for a rainy Sunday afternoon. But also, like, a rainy Sunday afternoon is like the best way to watch this movie. What are you talking about? That's a compliment.
I did it this morning. It was raining here in Gray today, and I put some soup in the crock pot and put on Blood on Satan's Claw, and here we are.
That's so adorable.
It was great. I have a weird have they seen it, which is like, so this is a folk horror movie, which means it's about like witches. I love witchcraft and witches, and it's like a lifelong obsession of mine. But you know who else loves witchcraft and witches? Do you think any single, even one TikTok witch has seen the Blood on Satan's Claw?
I was literally gonna say, do you think that any like TikTok cottagecore influencers have seen this movie? Now, when you say are you talking about the ones that curse the moon, or just in general?
Yeah, like that general style of like 24-year-old. I mean, they could be. There's like lots of all. I shouldn't pick on Gen Z. I'm always doing that because I'm old and cranky about it. There's all sorts of ages, but like that style of TikTok witch that's like really into pseudoscience and just making up weird things like cursing the moon that are not based in any witchcraft tradition
Form of
whatsoever.
magic and
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel like the closest they get to this is the movie The Witch.
The Witch.
I don't feel like many of those people are watching 70s UK horror movies, even if they are English in nature. Yeah, I saw something recently that was like a small study that found that like Gen Z will like is more prone to like listening to music from the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, but only watches movies from the past 10 years or something. And that made me so fucking depressed.
That's super annoying. Yeah.
That's annoying. I hope that's not true. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, it feels anecdotal and not like science-based, but
one of the biggest heats I ever took on Twitter was because after Drag Race, RuPaul's an older man and he was referencing some old movie like Mommy Dearest, and none of the queens knew what he was referencing. And so all these young gays on Twitter were like, why should young contestants know about Mommy Dearest? And it's like, well, because it's RuPaul's show for one, and you should like study up. But also it was like, actually the contestants should know about old movies, and so should you.
Yeah.
Like, don't be so proud of your own aggressive ignorance. And people got so mad at me, and then people are like, this is like when boomers complain that I don't care about the Beatles. And it's like, I guess, but it's just like, again, this is like a common theme on our show. Like, it's not cool to not know about something. Like, to be like proud of your own incuriosity is not the cool punk rock movie you think it is.
No, it's not. You don't have to know the Beatles. That's like,
you don't have
kind
to
of lame.
know.
But like, if you are super into like, I don't know, fucking like Post Malone or Chappell Roan or like one of those people like that, you should be looking into like, oh, what do they like? What are they influenced by? My girlfriend styled Chappell Roan, and like a lot of the look and style that she's going for, my girlfriend does in styles, and is based on the work of Shirley Russell, who was the costume designer for a lot of Ken Russell's movies, like The Devils and like Women in Love, and like is very influenced by like Picnic and Hanging Rock, and like she's outrageously influenced by like classic cinema and stuff like that. So like, these are good things to know. It's really hard to produce art if you don't engage with art.
Yeah, and it's okay not to know about something, but the difference is the attitude about it. So if you told me like about a movie that I hadn't heard of, I would be like, oh, I haven't heard of that. I'm going to look it up if I remember. I wouldn't be like, I've literally never heard of that, and try to make you feel stupid because you do know about something and I don't. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the difference. It's really frustrating. Whose turn is it?
It's
your turn.
It's their turn to wake up and learn. It's my turn. Do you think that, speaking of social media influencers, that one of maybe the like pinnacle like horror and cottagecore home aesthetic in like influencers and former TV show host, I believe, had a Netflix show for a little bit, that interior designer and YouTube minor celebrity Christine McConnell has seen Blood on Satan's Claw?
Her, I think she has. I didn't watch her Netflix show. I do like her YouTube. I like watching her fix up her Victorian house and like produce her own wallpaper and shit like that and do taxidermy. I like her. I'm into her. I think she's.
I like her stuff. I had to stop watching her stuff when she bought her Victorian house and refused to sell her previous house because she liked it too much. At that point, I was like, you have too much money, and I don't... I feel weird about this. So I haven't watched anything up to that point. But, the work she does is super cool.
Goddamn, I love a Victorian house. I mean...
that's the dream. A Victorian house with a secret passage? Like...
That's all I want. I want to pick out wallpapers for a Victorian house. That's all I want to know the second half of my life.
Too much to ask for to have a bookcase where you pull a book and it opens the door, it opens the bookcase into a door and it leads into a private study or screening room? Is that too much to ask?
No, not at all. I don't think so.
I'm asking Joe Biden. Is that too much to ask?
Use that canceled student loan debt money on a secret passageway for Drusilla.
Yeah, like that's ever happening.
I know. Thank you for listening to this episode of Bloodhaus. If you liked it, please rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at bloodhousepod. Drusilla, where are you lurking?
You can find me and my artwork over at sisterhidedesign.com. There's a whole bunch of stuff over there. Speaking of like folk horror and modern horror, there's a new poster out for Late Night with the Devil that I worked on. That's over on my site, along with new work for the Criterion Collection and stuff for bands. And there's a bunch of stuff out there. You can reach out and contact me, even though my accountant has recently told me to do less freelance work because it fucked me over really hard. Anyway, I like doing it, and I like not listening to people in authority telling me what to do. I like making mistakes. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Hyde Sister, or if you look for Sister Hyde or Drusilla Adeline on Letterboxd, you can follow me over there, and you can see what I thought of fucking bad Chevy Chase movies from the 80s, or Why the Spanish Prisoner with Steve Martin is incredibly underrated. What about you, Josh? How can people follow your words of advice and get led into a forest?
I'm at Joshua Conkel on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And as this episode comes out, season 1 of Dead Boy Detectives will be available on Netflix, which is the show that I've been writing for 2 years. It's finally coming out. So go and watch it so that we get another season. And next week, we're watching a movie that I haven't seen, actually, but I think you have, right?
I've seen a third of.
Okay.
Which will make sense when you find out what the movie is.
Yeah. What is it?
We are being joined by a special guest, and we will be watching a very snooty art house film that is also a very outlandish horror film from the wicked minds of Edgar Allan Poe, Roger Vadim, and Federico Fellini. We'll be watching Spirits of the Dead.
Very excited about that. Okay, bye. See you next week.